It's the First Impressions podcast. Here's Matt and Charles.
All right, you want to jump in it?
Sure. Yeah, I was cheating my way back to where you put notes.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Were you okay with that? I mean,
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
I don't have a lot to say about the Jonah series yet.
Okay, I just want to kind of give you a chance to introduce it and get some buzz around it.
Yeah. Yeah. We got that give me a chance to do just the 3 random topics that I'm going to do the rest of this month.
Okay. All
There
right.
may or may not be weapons involved with this week's sermon.
Oh, that's awesome. Ooh, can I leave that in?
Yeah, if you want, I don't care.
All right, sweet. Well, welcome to the First Impressions podcast. I am Charles Howard alongside Pastor Matt Hinesley. It's been a couple of weeks since we've seen all of you. We've missed you, and we're glad to be back. But I tell you, in the couple of weeks that we haven't been around, a lot's been happening.
Yes.
And good stuff, too, man. So we had our very first Good Friday service Friday before Easter, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. I've gotten nothing but good feedback on that service.
Yeah, me too. It was great.
A lot of people that came to it said it was great. Then we had a lot of folks that watched it on the live stream. It's just a really cool concept to show what went on Good Friday.
Yeah.
But to kind of leave you hanging Friday night and then come back Sunday morning, pick up where we left off, and then kind of turn it, something somber into a celebration. I just thought it was really awesome. And Easter Sunday was really awesome as well.
Yeah, the whole weekend was just a good experience, and I'm a big believer, and I say this often, you can't appreciate good news until you know how bad the bad news
That's
is.
exactly right.
And
Man,
so
that's exactly
Good
right.
Friday service kind of lets you know how bad the bad news of it all was.
Yeah.
And how bad the bad news was for us had Jesus not done what he did on the cross.
Absolutely.
And so that makes the good news that much better. And if the good news is that good of a news, then I want to tell people about it.
Absolutely. Yeah, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't
Sure.
you? I always tell the students, if you found something for sale that was on like a good discount or good sale price or whatever, wouldn't you go tell your buddies,
Oh,
hey
yeah.
man, these shoes are on sale,
Gotta go get those.
Yeah, we need to have the same intensity about, telling folks about Jesus, because that's better than a good deal on shoes.
For sure.
So the Easter was
For
awesome.
sure.
Hey, tell the folks how many people we had in church on Easter Sunday morning,
Easter Sunday morning, best count was 180.
which is huge.
Yeah, that was kind of a big crowd. And I got to tell you, I'm not one of those guys that's going to go hyping up numbers and be like, having 180 doesn't make us have a great church.
That's right.
But it is an indication that at least we're going in the right direction. And maybe everybody was visiting mom and dad and came to our church to visit this week. And
Yeah.
so for us, it was a blessing. For us, it was a great chance to get to experience where I think it is that the direction our church is headed in.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah,
if
absolutely.
you add the number of people that watched online, you're over 200. Same with
Easy.
Friday night. We had about 75 to 80 in attendance.
Okay.
And then well over 20 to 30 that watched it. So
Yeah.
it was a great weekend, man.
It really was.
And
It really
had
was. It
we
was
had
a
lot.
good
I mean,
reach.
music was great
Oh,
all
man.
weekend. Spot on. Everybody that had participated. Charles, what you wrote for your part of the 7 sayings was awesome.
So that's what we're exploring tonight. That actual saying, I'm
Are you?
thirsty. Yeah.
So you already got your Bible study done.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. Well,
It's
I
easy
went off
for
of
you.
it. Yeah.
Hey,
definitely.
no wonder you want to do a podcast tonight. You're like, man, I got
Yeah,
easy
we got
Bible
time,
study to do.
yeah.
Got plenty of time.
Got nothing going on. But I'll tell you, as far as the numbers, and I don't say that to say, look at us, we got a lot of people. But one thing I can say is that 180 people heard the gospel of Jesus Christ this past Sunday, and we had the opportunity to love on 180 people, and it was a really good thing to see. I mean, it's been a while since we've seen people sitting in that front foyer area, where there's no chairs. We had to bring chairs in, set them up, and it was so cool just to see that and experience it. So Easter was just that really made our Easter this year.
And
really
hopefully folks didn't gorge out too bad on Peeps that we gave out.
Man, yeah, that was a lot of fun. And I tell you, a lot of people talked about the icebreaker, doing the trivia questions and stuff.
Yeah.
That turned out to be a lot of fun. The game show hosts.
Yeah, that's a big fun time there.
Yeah.
So
When I was a kid, I ate so many Peeps one time that I made myself sick. And after that, I said, I'll never eat another Peep in my life. And I don't think I have since then. Or maybe I've tried one or two.
But that's like the core thing for youth ministry is the Chubby Bunny game. You got to see how many marshmallows you can stuff into your mouth at one time.
That's right. That's right.
So, I don't know. I tried to get Nancy's kid, Levi, to go ahead and see how much he could do. I don't know if he did it or not.
Okay.
Maybe he did. Good for you, Levi.
Little peer pressure.
In there.
Yeah, sorry, Nancy. Sorry if we made him sick and got him hyped up and sent him home with you. So looking ahead, so we've got you just mentioned behind the scenes, but I'm going to leave that in that we got some interesting stuff coming up here. May or may not involve toys, but
weaponry.
But I know that you and I have talked about your Jonah series that you've got coming up, and Jonah is a really interesting book. I mean, he's such an interesting evangelist in that he didn't want to go to Nineveh. He hated the Ninevites, and so when he finally broke down and said, "Fine, I'll go see the Ninevites," he preached what God told him to preach. The Ninevites turned from their ways. They repented and they received Jesus, and Jonah got mad.
Yeah, he's still not happy.
Yeah, right. He's like, I knew you would do it, God.
And the thing is, everybody in the church, you can say, who's Jonah? And everybody's going to tell you big fish.
Yeah, right.
And everybody knows the story, but they don't know the whole story.
And that takes up so little.
So we'll spend about a month telling the whole story of Jonah and getting into that. Before we get there, we're going to take 3 weeks and do something individually, 3 standalone sermons that I just think are important that... and just to give us a little break from finishing James and jumping back into Jonah.
Okay.
I've never heard anybody preach on Jonah. I've never done it before, so it's always exciting for me too. Yeah. But this Sunday, there may or may not be weaponry involved in the sermon Sunday.
Breaking news. News.
I can't.
That doesn't mean that you get to bring yours. Okay.
Don't tell Sib though.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Don't tell Sib.
Yeah, because Sib's a little trigger happy. He might. He might have to do something. That sounds like fun. I'm eagerly awaiting this Sunday.
Is it weird that I like preaching through the Old Testament a lot?
No, not at all. I love the Old Testament. Now, by the way, not Old Testament, but very close. Hebrews on Easter Sunday was really cool. An interesting perspective. I love the book of Hebrews because it is the most Jewish book in the New Testament. But the theme of Hebrews, is that Jesus is our high priest, which is a very Jewish idea there. And Jews would understand why that's important, being the high priest. In fact, I've got a little bit of Hebrews tonight just to make a few points. But I thought that was really cool, using Hebrews, because I think you kind of, what's funny, there's a lot of banter that goes on in the church before the service or during the service sometimes too. Maybe I shouldn't admit that, but Matt leaned over and he said, "Bet you never heard an Easter sermon out of the book of Hebrews before." And I was like, "No, I really haven't." And I'm looking forward to hearing this one. So
maybe that's just part of being new to this whole deal.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I like it. I mean, like I said, it was a fresh, perspective. Yeah. And I think a lot of people got a lot out of it.
I was banking on the fact that most people have heard the Easter story, and
Absolutely.
I don't want to bore. I always was told by my mentors the worst thing you can do is bore people to death with the word of Jesus.
Yeah, that's true.
And the gospel, and
and you definitely
people probably coming in were expecting one thing, and my goal is switch it up and do another. So
awesome.
But also on that, I will mention too, Sunday we met and surpassed our Annie Armstrong Easter offering.
Excellent. I know we were very close.
Yeah, so we set a goal of $5,000 for Annie Armstrong. A lot of people said, yeah, that's a big goal.
Yes.
Well, a bunch of people said, ain't no way. At this point right now, we're at $5,241 for Annie Armstrong Easter offerings.
So we busted that one.
So everything this year we've asked people to help contribute to Above and Beyond Ties, which Annie Armstrong Easter offering, by the way, goes to North American Missions.
That's right.
So it's everything that happens in the United States.
Yep.
Whether it's church planning, replanning, sending missionaries out, whatever that case may be, through NAM and some other things like that, that's what that goes to. And so every dollar, every cent that we give goes to that.
Awesome. That's awesome. So we beat that goal.
Same as with the Concord House, we exceeded over an abundance of that.
That's right.
Pretty much everything we've set our mind to as a church so far, we've been able to get there.
And that's a true testament to our church. And I told you early on, we've got great people. We have very generous people. In the youth department, where obviously I'm intimately involved, we've never had to want for anything. The church has always provided, and they've always been awesome about it. Which kind of is a great segue to this coming Sunday morning. We're going to be serving pancakes for breakfast. So come hungry. I got pancakes. We'll have pancake only plates, and then we'll have plates with pancakes and sausage and bacon. So you have, pancakes with meat or pancakes without meat.
We definitely want the pancakes.
Absolutely.
Well, what if we just say no pancakes? Just give me the bacon.
Give me the bacon. Yes. What's funny is
or can you wrap my pancake in bacon
and then put syrup on
fry
top
it, and then let's put syrup.
Ooh, don't tempt me with a good time. Half the bacon doesn't even make it to the plates, because the kids are eating it as they're cooking.
Well, what was great was I got an email from our chairman of deacons. It was like, look, I don't know if we could do our deacons meeting Sunday morning because several of the guys are cooking, and I'm like,
that's right.
No, I'd rather us skip the deacons meeting and y'all go cook. That's the meaning of the word. That's what deacons are there to do.
That's
to help serve. So,
and our deacons are phenomenal. In fact. One of them is kind of instrumental in getting this thing off the ground. So Mike Perez has a secret recipe for his pancakes. And I'll tell you this is in full disclosure. The first time we did a pancake breakfast, I went to Sam's and I bought one of those huge bags of the Just Add Water pancake mix. And that's what I was going to make, just a bunch of those. And he looked at me, he's like, please don't do that. And I was like, well, I don't know how else to make pancakes. And he's like, let me help you. And I was like, okay. He's got this
Mike Perez.
Man. And listen, he makes the fluffiest pancakes and they're phenomenal.
Well, now I'm extra excited.
Oh man, you gotta.
Being a former youth pastor, I'd have done it the way you did it.
Exactly.
Just add water.
Exactly.
And make some money
and
here.
Rock and roll, yeah.
But if Mike, if you're gonna do that, man,
he's got a recipe. And
I may not eat Friday or Saturday just so I can eat.
That's true.
Sunday morning.
I gotta warn you too. You may have to stay away from your mom that Sunday because it's so good it'll make you want to slap your mama.
Ooh, Mom, come on over here.
Sorry, Mom. We're gonna have to keep you arm's length away. That's right. That's right. He might slap me instead, Mom. So,
Anna?
Yeah, absolutely, and Heather would approve of that as well. So, all right, so we got our Easter recap. We looked ahead to Jonah. So, as far as Easter was this past Sunday, so in the theme of Easter, give me some some pastor speak. Why is the resurrection important? Why do we even celebrate the resurrection?
Well, if there was no resurrection, then everything we do revolving around church or Jesus is pointless.
That's exactly right. That's what Paul said.
That's the thing. It's all in vain. I would have wasted my life. You would be wasting your time tonight.
Yeah.
None of it would matter unless Jesus rose again on the third day. Right. He would have just been like everybody else, just like a Muhammad, just like a Joseph Smith. Any of those guys, you can find their grave, you can find their bones, you can carbon date it, you can DNA test it. Jesus' grave was empty, and that is the central thing to the Bible, is that all of the Old Testament pointed to Jesus on the cross.
Yep.
And then he rose again, and all of the rest of the New Testament points back to what Jesus did on the cross. And the great thing is, I should have been the guy on that cross.
That's right.
It should have been nails through my hands, nails through my feet. My back should have been scourged. All of the whole 9 yards should have been for me, but Jesus said, I'm going to allow it to happen to my son to pay the price for your sin. So yes, Baptist churches talk about getting saved all the time, and we make that a huge deal, and that's the reason.
That's it.
Why? Because at the end of the day, when you die, that's it. It's either heaven or hell, and it's accepting that free gift of salvation that Jesus died on the cross for your sins and for my sins. That's the only way I get to heaven. I can't be good enough. I can't give good enough. I can't be a great church member great enough. It has to be Jesus Christ on a cross. I believe it. I ask him in my heart, and I turn from my sins, knowing then that sin is what put him on the cross.
That's right.
And so because that sin put him on the cross, I'm not now sorry that I got caught in my sin. I'm sorry that I did it.
That's right. It's more personal.
And so I'm trying not to do it again. Now, God knows, we cannot be perfect apart from him. And so we're going to continue to mess up, and that's why forgiveness and sanctification, another church word, all that stuff is happening even still, but it all revolves around the cross. And so people say, yes, the Super Bowl of the church. It's way more than that. It's none of the rest of the stuff we do has any point to it, unless it's not, if he didn't rise again on the third day.
That's right.
And so because of that, man, we have all of it, and I'm interested and intrigued that you can go and you can realize grave's empty.
Yeah.
And that's one thing.
Yeah.
You can go and look throughout history, and you can look near 500 people documented that saw Jesus after the resurrection.
That's right.
But the thing that, to me, gives the evidence of the resurrection more than anything else was the lives that were changed post-resurrection.
Yeah.
Because you got guys like Peter that were denying Jesus all the time, and they were wimps, and then all of a sudden they see Jesus and go, no,
I'm willing to die.
I'm doing anything.
They all did.
Even James, who we studied for a few weeks on Sunday mornings, James, the brother of Jesus, you look at your brother, however, sometimes, and you're a little bit skeptical, and you don't quite know what's going on, but then James realized his brother did resurrect, and so James says,
and then he believed.
I'm willing to be your servant, your
Right.
slave
That's right.
to your message and to your cause. And that's what the resurrection did.
I don't know if you had mentioned this when you were talking about James or introducing the series, or if I read this somewhere, but James,
If it's really good, I said it.
Okay, so yeah, this is really good. It was for me. It was insightful. But James, and then Jesus had other brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
And they resented him, up until the point of after he rose from the dead. I mean, that was the thing that did it for them. Was the resurrection. And so you talk about the grave being empty. Stephen Durbin, the pastor at Oak Hill Church, was in Israel, last week, and he was at the grave, and he's like, it's still empty. I mean, I'm here right now, and it is still empty. And he was
Still nobody.
Yeah, nobody's there. He was able to go back to his church and tell them on Sunday, hey, look, I can tell you emphatically, he ain't in there. And so, the fact that he is alive today sets him apart from any other lowercase g God.
And here's the thing. I know there are going to be skeptics to go, well, how do you know that's the grave?
Yeah.
There's no bodies.
Right.
There's no proof.
Right.
Great. I'll let you have that one.
There's too much evidence to the contrary.
You can look at the evidence of the people who witnessed it. Well, maybe it was just a rumor and it's a tall tale. But the difference to me, though, the big one for me is the people who saw him resurrected, it changed their lives to the point where they were willing to die.
That's right.
And somehow or another, some way or another, however you want to put it, lives are still being changed today.
That's exactly right.
And that doesn't just happen on a feel-good story.
That's right. I'm not going to die for a lie.
No.
Not going to do it.
No.
But another evidence that we go over on Easter Sunday morning, that I do with the students, I give proof, that Jesus was who he says he was, or is who he says he is. And one of those is that he fulfilled 300 prophecies, in the Old Testament. That's why, again, you're talking about the Old Testament. That's why it's important. There are 300 prophecies that he fulfilled, and the odds of 300 prophecies being about one person that one person fulfills is one to some kind of
like
crazy.
Slim to none.
Yeah, it's virtually impossible, and yet Jesus did it.
He did, and that's an impressive thing.
Absolutely. All right, well, let's do final words, then. I'll let you go first. Final words from Pastor Matt Hinsley.
Final words, looking around the room, got boys over there eating pizza, girls over here hanging out. Look at all these guys over here in the youth house, man. I'm
Sam
so
Leonard's
happy.
back from Florida. Look at the sun.
Sam Leonard's back from Florida.
I say Florida. He was in lower Alabama in L.A.
Yeah, I don't know if that's real beach over there or if that's just...
Orange Beach? Is it Orange Beach?
My wife's kids are at the beach right now, and I'm bacheloring.
I'm super
it,
jealous.
So
party at Matt's house tonight.
Yeah, come on.
After church.
Come on, I got some paint for you to do and some grass for you to cut. Let's go.
That's right. All right, final words for me. I'm looking forward to this Sunday and the possible weaponry that's going to be involved in the service.
May or may not.
He already made the breaking news right here on the podcast. Looking forward to that. Then looking forward to the Jonah series as well. So, all right, we got to get these students rolling, man. They're hyped up. We got a bunch of Mountain Dew in the system. They're ready to roll, man.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Out.
I love you. The whole time